of come and have a seat at the table.
Hello everyone. It has been a while since we have done an episode of the podcast. So we thought today, why not release it on our special day?
It's our anniversary.
Yes, and it has been an amazing 3 years. Today we celebrate 3 years of being married.
Many of you shared in our journey. You guys were there when he proposed to me. You guys were there for the engagement pictures, for the bridal shower. You guys were there for the wedding, the drive-by shower, and then the online wedding that was happening during the pandemic. And many of you all shared such well wishes and your prayers and your encouraging words to us, and we still hold on to those words and to all those things that have helped encourage us to keep going throughout our 3-year journey. It's not a long journey, but a lot has happened
In a short period of time.
in a short period of time. We started the Come Sit at the Table podcast last year, and we found that many people really want to hear about relationships and marriage and couples and relations between men and women. And so that's what we want to gear our podcast to really pouring into marriages and family and really diving into those things that make up family and things that transpire in family, things that transpire in relationships, the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, the real, the raw, all of those things. And so prayerfully we'll be able to be consistent in our content, as we receive downloads and we receive insight on what we believe is going to be beneficial to you. We'll be able to film it and release it to the world. And so today we celebrate 3 years of marriage, and we wanted just to share the ups and downs of our 3 years. For those of you that follow us, you all know that we're pretty open, pretty honest, pretty transparent, because we just believe that transparency saves lives. And if there are some things that we can share that will help save your marriage, save your relationship, save your life, encourage you, then why not share it? Why keep it to ourselves and allow you to go through the same pitfalls or go through the same traumatic experiences or negative things that we've gone through, when we can help prevent that? And then we can share the good things that we've learned and the wisdom that we have been able to garner over the years. He was married 20 years. I was married 20 years. Divorced 5 years. He was a widow for 6 months. And now we are remarried again for 3 years. So we have a little bit of experience. And I believe that our God-given purpose here on the earth is to share that with those who are willing to listen.
As she stated, y'all was on the journey of the wonderful, amazing wedding that we had during the pandemic. It was just an amazing time, beautiful time, and it was a happy time. And as we dove in and we got past that big wedding day, things was great and we loving it. And
we did good for about a year, right?
Yeah, we had
The year of course was bliss.
Yeah.
And the beginning is always good because we still honeymooning.
Right. And of course now it's always challenging with a blended family, but it was just like everything was just running its course. It was
real
just
smooth.
Great. The kids was interacting, everything was just running smooth. But of course, after a while, things began to really settle in. Yes. And, because as she said, I was married for 20 years. She was married for 20 years. We come from 2 different backgrounds. So now the way I may see things, she don't see it that way. The way she see things, I may not see it that way. and things begin to get a little like, hey, well, hold on, I don't do things that way, because you got to remember, we dated in March and got married in August. And
so
although
5 months, so that means we really didn't know each other.
Right.
All we knew is we supposed to be together, and we'll learn each other on the back end.
Yeah.
Well, the learning process started year 2,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Year 1, I mean, we still like 2 little kids,
We had a little disagreement, but it was nothing. It was just like, because we so, honey, do we just kiss?
Yes.
And it's over with.
Making love all the time. I mean, we killing it. Year 1 killing it. Baby, year 2 hit.
And
Woo!
we had a little challenge. The first challenge, big one, was just, it was a big blow up. And those of you that already been following us, y'all seen it because we shared it. Again, we didn't always want people to see, the good parts.
Right.
And of
Right.
course, marriage has its great parts, but we wanted to show that, hey, we had some challenging times too. And the key is, while we wanted to show it, is then how we bounce back from it.
That's right.
So we had the challenging time, and it came, if y'all remember, those of you that seen it, she was ready to say, hey, I'm going to get my bags and I'm out of here.
And why did I instantly feel the need to say I'm out of here? Like that was my my first response, because we hadn't had a blow up that bad. So I think that scared me, because we hadn't had a blow up that bad, and I just felt like, oh my God, this is terrible. We're not gonna make it. And I immediately felt like I gotta go. I gotta go back, pack my stuff, and I gotta go. Where was I going? I don't know. But I just felt like I wasn't being heard. I wasn't understood. And I felt like I was being now more of a hindrance than a help to him and his children. And so it made me feel like, you know what? They're better off without me. They've gone through enough. They lost their mother. He's still grieving his first wife.
Right.
And, maybe we got married too fast. And now we're starting to see that all the honey is off the moon, and now reality has hit. And, and maybe, he don't want to be with me. Like I was thinking, he don't really like me.
And again, it goes back to what you just said. I think it was because it was still new. It was like, all right, I can get out of this thing early. It ain't been that long. It's only been a year. So, we can hurry and get out before we get too deep into it. And then we feel like, oh, we're kind of stuck.
So what would you say was the problem during that time? Why did things turn in year 2? Because we got to give them context to, what we're talking about.
Well, I think, again, it goes back to, we both came from 2 different backgrounds. We both did things differently. We parent differently. Some things that you may have been a little strict on and stern on, I may have not, and vice versa. So things that you may have thought should happen, I just would be like, oh, it's no big deal. And I think that's where it came from. Where it's an incident we had where, she wanted the kids to do something, and for me, I felt like it's really no big deal. Now I can tell you, my wife, we both are sticklers about cleaning and being neat and all that. And as long as everything is done, I'm like, all right, it's cool. But my wife felt like, that, find something else to do after you done that. So me, like, well, what else you want them to do? Like, they did what you asked them to do. So I think that's where it came from. And it stemmed from, because it felt like, hey, you can always find something else to do. Where I'm like, well, everything else is done.
Right.
Let them chill. And it just, even though it seemed like it's something small, it just blew up into something, big.
Because that was like the consistent disagreement in our home. They chill, and I'm like, no, we can't chill. It's a lot that we got to do. It's a lot that we got to teach. It's a lot that we got to learn. And it just comes from the different upbringing. I'm raised by a Trinidadian mother. For anybody that has been raised with a West Indian background, or a foreign, because a lot of foreigners have a different type of work ethic, honestly, than Americans do. And so I was raised, you know, by a mother that made us clean when nothing was dirty. You know what I'm saying? So she's like, every Saturday it's cleanup day, and Saturday will come and the house is still clean from the prior Saturday. But it was just something that we knew. Every Saturday we had to clean the house, and clean the house meant vacuum, dust, baseboards, windows, you know, it was the whole nine. Scrub the toilets. And that was how I was raised, and that is how I continue to live my life. You know, even as a single woman, every Saturday I would get up and clean. And you guys, that's not how you guys were used to doing.
Although we may have, you know, we did the cleaning and we did, you know, things they supposed to do, just felt like it's always something to do. And for me, because I'm a little bit more chill, and I'll say, because I haven't always been that chill, I think I was a little bit more protective during this time too.
Right.
Because of the loss of their mom, you know, I kind of got a little easy as well. So I think that's what kind of made things go a little rocky too.
Yeah, because he felt like he had to protect the children from me.
Yeah.
And I felt that. It's like I felt like it was me against them, you know? And I felt like he didn't trust me with the children. So anytime I would make a suggestion, or I may give an instruction or give an order, like this needs to be done, I could feel him cringing. I could see his face getting balled up like, don't say anything to my children. And it made me feel away, because at this point, I'm not looking at your kids as your kids. I'm looking at your children as our children, right? And so I feel like the same way I reprimand and I will give CL, Marlon, and Caitlin instruction, that is the same way I will respond to Kaya, Shania, CJ, and Shasha. It was no different for me. But I could feel the difference, and, you know, then we had a moment where it blew up, because I just felt like this is not going to work, because I know that how I am is, I don't know if that's going to change, and I'm not sure if how he is, if he's going to change. So you know what, this might not work.
Yep. And it took times where, all right, we work it out, but I don't think at first I was really understanding of it.
Right.
You know, I still had that protected, and I think because again, because of their mom passing away, and because I felt like at the time that, yes, this is who God sent and gave another mother figure, but really I'm all they got. Mm-hmm. And because I looked at it that way, I'm all they got, like I got to protect every little thing. So if I felt like she was being a little too hard, a little too harsh, saying a little too much, I would, you know, kind of be like, nah, you ain't got to say that, or nah, they ain't got to do that, or why you want them to do that? And then that was causing friction.
And it was happening in front of the children. So that was a big mistake, because now the children are seeing that we're not on the same page. Right. So of course, when children see that, children gonna be children. That was a lesson that we had to learn, that we always had to show a united front in front of the children, even if we weren't really united, you know, that we would have to hash it out in the back room, hash it out in the bedroom, hash it out in the car, hash it out in private. But we could not allow the children to continue to see us at odds. Right. Because it was not good for them. And then it just, again, it allows for now a spirit of disrespect, and a spirit of just like, we ain't got to pay you no mind because my daddy got us, you know? And then you'll have CL, Mom, and Caitlin looking like, y'all was treating my mom. So it starts to breed resentment in a family. So what was the turning point? Because in year 3, I would say that we haven't had that problem. So you know. So what do you think the turning point to that was?
I believe the turning point was, number one, me just fully trusting you as being, not just saying, oh, this is a new mother figure, but actually being their mom. Mm-hmm. You know, allowing you to. But
how did you get to that place? It was prayer, it was counsel, like what? Or you just making up in your mind that I'm going to embrace this?
We always, so to interject on that too, we always would get counsel, you know,
I believe in
spiritual counsel, and we would go to our spiritual leaders and bring them in. bias, and it wasn't just one. We had two non-biased people that would come in and say, hey, listen, you were wrong, and this was you wrong, and this is what you need to do, and this is how you need to do it. And then also we had some people, family-wise, that we could trust to bring in as well.
That wouldn't take sides. And a lot of people, they don't like to do the bringing other people into their marriage. They say it's our business. But if the two of you aren't getting along, how are you guys going to work it out? If you have your ideal and your way of doing things, and the spouse has their ideal and their way of doing things, how are you guys going to come to some type of agreement or a place where you guys are together if you don't bring some trusted voices, some trusted counsel into your life, into your marriage, so that they could serve as a listening ear, as a mediator, and as a voice of wisdom for your situation? You have to be willing to take down the pride. Don't worry about the image, how it's going to look. Because, oh my God, everybody thinks we're the perfect couple. Well, we're not the perfect couple today, and we need some help. So we got to find help because we want our marriage to work, and clearly we can't do this thing on our own.
Right. So, again, it was the counseling, of course, prayer.
A lot of prayer.
Some of you may remember I talked about how it was times when we didn't really want to talk to each other or be around each other. But one thing we did, we'd pray, even if I just had to hold that one finger and pray together before we went to bed. Honestly, some nights we was like this. All right, you go ahead and pray.
I usually put my whole foot on them. Those nights, I might have touched them with the big toe. Or wouldn't touch them at all. I'd be sitting tight. Right. Laying in the bed stiff.
And giving me this one little finger just like this.
And he'll be praying. I won't even say amen. It'd be quiet as I don't know what. Lord bless us.
But we continue to do it. And then when I noticed that, what I do, y'all, I turn to her. All right, it's your turn to pray. So then I made her have to get into it and pray on our behalf. And then after that, I think really what it was, the counseling, the prayer. But for me, it was in the third year, which would have made the fourth year for my former wife passing. I came to my wife and said, you know what? In the first 2 years, she talked about me still grieving. And although I knew God gave me a love for her, I still loved and missed my former wife too. But after that third year, I came to her and said, it's time for me now to give you all of me. Because she didn't have all of me. Because again, I was married for 20 years, with her for 22 years. And once I gave you all of me, I think that's when the turning point came. I think so too.
Because I knew that you loved me, but I still knew that I really didn't have all of your heart. But that was something that I knew could change. Because I really believe that this is who God sent for me. And God is not going to send me a man that's going to half love me. So it may not be where I want it to be in the beginning, but it's going to get where it's supposed to be. And these situations and these things these hurdles that we've had to jump, are all going to serve a purpose in the long run. We'll be able to get the lessons out of those experiences. And we'll be able to use these experiences to help other couples like we're able to do right now.
Right.
So I knew that if I could just stick it out, pray it out, talk it out, cry it out, eventually we're going to get the victory in this area.
Yeah. Because she knew that I wholeheartedly loved her. I would do anything I could for her.
Half-heartedly.
But
half-heartedly loved me.
I wholeheartedly loved you.
I didn't have your whole heart.
When
you
I said yeah.
You loved me.
I did. She knew I loved her, y'all.
Right.
But I did. She didn't have all. But that was the turning point when I was able to say, "Hey, you got all of me now." Then I was able to kind of that guard was able to drop.
There was like immediate. I could feel a change in you.
Yeah.
It's almost like you was like, I can go ahead and exhale. Like I don't have to have this wall of defense. Like, you know what? I'm taking it down now.
And although you see her operating as a mother and doing the things as a mother should and teaching them and correcting and all that, people say it. And again, remember, this is still early. Even though we know that God told us to do this thing and God put us together, it's still like, all right, she say, yeah, they mom and she gonna treat them like they, and she is showing it, but at the same time, you like, I don't know. And until I was able to drop those guards down and say, hey, I fully trust you, to do what God sent you to do. And I started to see the fruit behind it. So that was another key to say, man, she really do love them and care for them like she say. And we begin to see the change in each one of them. Because, every child is different.
Right.
And she had to handle each one of them differently. And still, I start to see how she talks to one. She may not talk to the other. She may sometimes have to show a little bit more affection and love to the other because that's what they need at the time. She may got to be a little harder on the other because of the potential and the stuff she see in that individual. And when I started to see the fruit and the change in them, was like, that right there was showed me that, hey, you now can really fully trust her because look, I'm showing you the fruit behind it.
That's powerful.
And something so simple, my girls, I look at now, when it first came along, right before she came along and we got married, my girls would, try to cook me little things. I'm like, hey, can you cook this? And they would try a little bit, but they really didn't. But they never knew how. They never was taught, their mom didn't, pull them in the kitchen and say, come on, let me show you how to do this. She just cooked the meals. And when my wife, Shemai, came along, she would be like, hey, get in this kitchen, let me show y'all, boom, boom. Let me show you how to do breakfast. And that's what she started with, something simple first. I remember that, your French toast and your pancakes. Let me show y'all how to do this, your breakfast. And then after a while, she's like, hey, y'all make breakfast. And sometimes it would be good, sometimes it wouldn't, but she kept on until they got to where they needed. Then she's like, all right, next is, they learn how to do dinner. It'd be something simple as spaghetti. Then it went to meatloaf. Then it went to, now they all got their different meals that any one of them can.
I don't have to cook that much.
Meals.
I don't cook. If I cook, it might be once a week, twice a week if I'm home. But these girls cook, and the food be good.
Yeah, they cook.
And they cook a full course meal. They know that they have to make a meat, a starch, and a vegetable. They know that, not just meat and vegetable. I want a full course, and they do it. The presentation is excellent, and you're right. It's the fruit that is like, whew, everything we went through is worth it because they got it, and they've gotten these things in a short period of time. They're not babies, so at certain ages, children already have their way of doing things. Their personalities are already formed. Their perceptions are already planted. So when you come in with children who are already young adults and teenagers, and now you got to kind of like rewire and reteach or maybe teach something new, that's not easy to do. And it's frustrating for them, and it was frustrating for me. But I think they had to see she loves us the same way Daddy had to see she don't mean no harm, she loves us. And then I had to see that, Siobhan, this is not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. And you got to see from their standpoint as well that it's coming off like nagging. It's coming off like drill sergeant. It's coming off like, they in a boot camp, because I'm telling you, it was something I was teaching every day, all day, something different. And I just would tell them, I don't know how much time God is going to give me with you all. And I already know that it's late in the game, and there are things that I want to make sure you guys know, so that if you don't have your dad, if you do not have me, you guys will be able to survive. And I can say now that if they don't have their dad, if they don't have us, if we want to go take a 2-month vacation, they'll be able to sustain and survive.
And they do that now when we gone, because we be on the road so much.
Yeah.
They keep maintaining the house. They making sure things is done around here. They making sure their younger brother eating and their sister, making sure they get into their games or whatever they got going on. They making sure that they're doing those things, making sure they getting to school and getting back home. So they're doing those things that she implemented.
Yeah.
And so thankful.
Aww. You're welcome. And so we made it to 3 years, and we was laying in the bed the other night watching some shoot up movie. I told y'all he got me watching all these shoot up movies, right? And I love them. What was we watching? I don't know. But we wasn't watching shoot up. We was watching Love and Marriage, I think. Yeah. Love and Marriage, Detroit. Yep, and right. So he stopped it and he said, I want to talk to you. And I said, okay. And he said, I want you to know, what'd you tell me?
Well, I just shared,
I want to hear it again.
I'm not going to give them all of it.
Okay.
Just over the last 3 years, how I was so appreciative of how, she have poured into our family, and that's, spiritually, naturally, the things she have poured into. And I was individually talking about my children because, she has taught them a lot. She has poured into them a lot, and I see it. And it's like, man, at first, because we was like this, rocking and kind of fighting it and kind of protecting because of whatever. But now to see how, the fruit of it is coming out of all of them, and to see the young man that even CJ is becoming, and how he's now saying yes sir and yes ma'am. And I remember when he first came along where they would just be like yeah or no or yes or no. And for me, that was one of the little big deals that she'd be like, why don't I say yes ma'am, yes no, or no ma'am? And I'm like, well, they said yes, they said no. So for me, it wasn't no big deal. But because, growing up in Virginia, South, that's what they do. Up north, we yes, no. Up north, we kind of take that as you being sarcastic. You say yes. Mm-hmm. And then she started to see that like, oh, they don't really do that up here. But she established that in our home. I even say yes, ma'am, and yes, sir.
Yeah.
Everybody says it because once she, implemented in the home, everybody started to get it. And then it became repetition for everybody. So, I just wanted to share with her how appreciative I was for what she has instilled in our family. And that goes from the youngest all the way to myself. You all see her as this great evangelist and pastor and prophetess that she is, but she also makes sure that home is her first ministry. So I just wanted to appreciate and let her know how much we love and appreciate who she is to us first at home.
And I've said, well, I want to say to you that you have been such an amazing husband to me. And I always say that he's given me my best years. And even though it's only been 3 years, these 3 years have been my best years. You have exposed me to a life that I've dreamed of having. You want to make me happy. You want to make sure I'm okay. You don't like to see me sad. You don't like to see me frustrated. Whatever you could do to fix it, you try. I'm so grateful that you're a man of integrity. You don't speak bad. You don't have a harsh tongue. You don't have a bitter tongue. And that just shows how pure your heart is. And that's what I love about you. You have a pure heart. You're a guy that takes care of business. You're honest. You're reliable when you say it. You're going to keep your word. And I am grateful for the husband that you've been and for the father you've been. And I am so thankful of how you cover me and how you push me. And you're so proud of all that, God is doing through me. I'm proud of you, but you're proud of me too. And it's just, I feel like a happy little girl when I'm with you. So happy 3-year anniversary. I'm looking forward to our next episode because I really want you to talk about what it's like being married to a strong woman. That's something that I don't think we hear a lot of. And I know I'm a strong woman. And it takes a special man to be married to a strong woman. So let's have that discussion for the next podcast. What is it like being married to an alpha female?
You heard her, y'all. So we thank y'all for tuning in and joining us on our anniversary, y'all. Again, thank you for celebrating with us. but also we're excited about the next episode.
Very excited, and it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be amazing.
Thank you guys for tuning in and watching. Come have a seat at the table. We back, and so just tell your friends, tell your family, they're back, and we're gonna make sure that we give you guys some very, very good content. We love you guys. Until next time.